Recently, I've been trying to walk every single day, every morning when I wake up. I get up around 5 and I have a little bit of time before my day gets started at 6 a.m. And so I wanted to walk every day. And for the first couple of days, 3 or 4 days, I did pretty well. I actually walked every morning. And then there was that one morning where it's a little colder outside than I wanted, and I decided I could just sleep an extra 15 minutes. Or I'm not sure, I think I told myself, I'm not sure where my shoes, or, I need a sweatshirt or whatever. So clue number 1, set my stuff out before the day, the day before for the stuff in the morning. Not revolutionary. You've read this in many books and all the rest, but it actually works. I take the time. I put my shoes and socks at the end of the bed, right where I sit to put on my shoes, and I decide what shirt I'm gonna wear. I like to walk in shorts, but that's a whole nother thing. So I got that squared away. That helped for a while, but then I ran across another issue. And that second issue was that once I make a cup of coffee, and I like waking up and having coffee, once I made that cup of coffee, I was pretty much not gonna go walking. I was gonna sit at my desk and continue to journal and write and think and do all the things that I enjoy doing in the morning. What did I do to alleviate that? I had to come up with a solution. What I came up with was using a coffee pot with a timer. I knew we had one in the house. We hadn't used it in a while, so I drug it out from underneath the cabinet, cleaned it all up, and sure enough, it works. So I set that timer to go off about 15 minutes before I get back from my walk. And I walk in the house, and there's fresh coffee made for me. The last part of the story, this all sounds so triumphant, but I'm telling you the last part of the story. So I got shoes out of the way, next excuse about coffee. And the other day I was sitting there putting my shoes on, and I had one sock on and I had the other sock in my hand, and I just stared at the wall. And I was like, it was colder that morning. And I was like, do I really want to go for a walk? That was the little thing in my head. Do I really want to go for a walk? And I really didn't, not in that moment, that's for sure. So if you can imagine, there I was, one sock on, one sock off, quote unquote, trying to figure out what I was going to do. I think the answer was pretty clear, that I needed to go for this walk. And after, I don't know how long, it felt like I was there for 10 minutes, but it probably was only a minute or two. I put that sock on and I walked out the front door. And I answered my mind. A lot of times our mind speaks to us. You have these just kind of background thoughts that you don't even think about that hard. And I realized you can't just ignore it, because that's sort of like saying, okay. You actually have to say, no, I'm doing this. No, I'm doing this. I'm moving on. My name's Terry. If you want to learn more about what I'm doing and what I'm about, go to walkingsober.org. Hope you have a great day.